And did you get the second set slides that I sent?
You know what? I've just realized welcome everyone to the Sean Atwood channel. I've just realized that I've got it all set up wrong. This is Atwood Unleashed. This is the wrong brand. How's everyone doing? It's Sunday. Welcome back to the Sean Atwood channel. We are here with Beverli Rhodes and Marliyn Devonish for Awaken with Beverli Rhodes, and a double whammy of positive energy this evening. And just, ladies, Beverli, we're starting with you. Ladies, tell us a little bit about well, I'll tell you what, before we do that, how have you been, Beverli? What's been happening with you before we dive in?
Really good. Well, winter solstice was yesterday, so it was really great. We had lots of positive energy. We saw some of the star beings in the sky sending orbs last night, which was fantastic. They popped in to say hello and to basically say, don't worry about the drones and don't worry about all the things that we're seeing, because they're watching over us to make sure that we're okay. So that was amazing. I love it. And also we're going to be doing all sorts of other really cool things as well today with our friend Marliyn. And we've got lots of nice things that we're busy planning for the future, which we did yesterday. So watch this space. Thank you, Ron.
Awesome. I'm just trying to fix the flipping background. Everything's gone a bit mad today. I'm not going to lie.
You go ahead. Marliyn, how are you doing? And how have things been?
I'm good, thank you. And did you find this? Did you get the PDF I just sent? I just sent version 2.
Okay.
Ron has got one on the screen already. So there we go. We've gone with the one we've got. So we are live at the moment.
Yeah. So we've got
how have you been, actually?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Yes, all good. Loved the winter solstice, and I'm sure you enjoyed winter solstice yesterday too.
Absolutely, and I'm really looking forward to this one. I definitely know I could benefit from a good old burst of energy and a bit of a clear out of the system. So I'm totally looking forward to this one, and really thank you also to everyone who joined us for the last live stream, my first with Beverli. The comments were really fantastic, so thank you all for those. I've replied to every single comment as far as I'm aware, and you know, they were really, really great. So I'm looking forward to today, and I know a lot of people say they are looking forward to today as well.
Good, that's wonderful. Awesome. Thank you so much. So I think what we do you want to start, for those that didn't tune into the last session, could you give some sort of an idea of, you know, a little bit of background about Huna and a little bit of background about yourself, so that we can then later on start adding into some of the slides that you sent us very kindly. So take it away.
Okay, well, last time we just decided we would, just to kind of close out, Beverli said, well, how about doing a bit of Huna energy just to close out the show, the recording. So we did that. We just launched in. Nobody had any idea what it was about and what we were actually doing. And Huna, as you'll see when we kind of do it later on today, you use the breath, so you draw the symbols on the breath and you deliver the symbols on the breath. And the comments that we had were amazing. If you haven't looked at that first stream, maybe the team can put the link to that in the chat or add it sort of later on in the description. But you can go and have a look and see the comments from people there, and they just had the most amazing time. So one of the things I will definitely say, and when we go into it in a bit more detail when we get started, I'll remind you, but just to say, with regards to this, you don't have to feel anything. And some of the examples I'll share, particularly in terms of my very first encounter with Huna, I didn't feel anything, but it still worked miraculously. So it's not a feeling contest. One of the things I always just say is just notice what unfolds. But before we get started, maybe what you want to do is give yourself what I call an MBS scan, a mind, body, spirit, and soul scan. So just get a sense of, how are you feeling? How are you feeling in your physical body? Noticing any aches, pains, stiffness, blockages, etc. Do the same in terms of, how are you feeling on a spiritual level? And what's your level of spiritual energy like? How are you feeling on the level of your soul? And just have a little bit of a scan, and also think about your mindset, because what we talked about the first time round was about trauma, and how things like hypnosis can help to reduce, resolve, and let you move on from trauma. We'll talk about that in the context of SA, given the whole Diddy scandal, what's been going on, but giving yourself a mindset scan as well. And to make it even clearer, maybe rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 equals, oh, my energy is low, and 10 equals you're bouncing off the ceiling like Tigger. So just do a little bit of a scan, make a little note. You might want to make a little note. If you've got a piece of paper or a tablet or something near you, a mobile phone, whatever it is, make a note on the mind, body, spirit, soul level. And then the invitation will be over the coming weeks, months, even years later, you might chance across that note or save it somewhere where you can find it. And it's always really fascinating to go back, look at where you were, and look at the things that have unfolded. So Bev, I'd say that would be a good thing to just, before we get started, as a precursor.
Oh, that's a wonderful piece of advice then. And you're right, you know, Marliyn, it's always good to have a look at what you've come from to where you are today. And let's hope that we're able to send as much of the energy for Huna, and from my point of view, from the universal energy that I'm going to pull out of our universe, so that that goes along the same way, same path. So whatever works for you, you might even get double bubble, which is why we planned this today, to have it for the festive season, festive wishes, and to take us into the new year with awakening and the alignment that's happening right now, this minute. So I think it's going to be great. So I know you've prepared slide. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Hi, Danny. Lovely to have you here. And just one other thing to say very quickly, Beverli. Again, I know you're going to come on to this with regards to how you set up what you're doing, but just a quick reminder while it pops into my head as well. From a Huna perspective, it's all about permission. Now, when we go through the presentation that I put together for today, I'm going to talk about to you about a couple of the instances where I then start, because I used to just say no. If somebody says, can you send Huna to my mum, my dad, my gran, my aunt, my this, my that, the other, they're not asking me directly. So I would always just say no. And then I suddenly had this light bulb moment. And so one of the things where I'm always talking about is permission. So while you are here, whether you're here live, and we appreciate you all putting your time aside to be here live, or whether you are watching this as a recording in the future, give yourself permission to receive this energy if you fancy it. And if you don't, and you just want to sit and observe, then just ask your energy field that the energy just passes you by. Let's think of it like going down a high street or in a shopping mall. If you look at a shop and it does not appeal to you, you don't go in. You just go, nah, not today. You don't go into the shop and start complaining that you don't like the stuff they sell because it's not your cup of tea. You just move along. And it's exactly the thing with this energy. If it's not for you, just give yourself permission, or just say, no, thank you. I'm just going to observe, let the energy pass me by. And if in the future you think, oh, actually, do you know, I fancy a bit of that, then you can come back and give yourself permission this time round. So don't know if you have anything you want to add, Beverli, about the permissions piece.
Yeah, I think that's a really good call there. You know, it is correct that you should really have permissions. And but I will say that where there is a mother and a child, or a father and a child, where the child is below the age of the soul engagement. So that is where you start moving on to your own soul and path of destiny, which generally clicks in and takes place from the age of 13. The individual father or mother can then provide information to us and actually ask for some healing and intercession on behalf of the child's soul or the child energy. We can do that. Ideally, don't put dates of birth in the chat, because it's your personal data, and for data protection, it's best not to do that. And people can always, you know, tie your screen name and the date of birth together, and you never know what's happened. So we just need to be very careful. Ideally, we would then also make sure that you and the child or the individual that you're asking to have help or energetic healing on, ideally, it would be good if they provide their permission if they're older, or that they ask themselves. That would be good. And I fully agree with what Marliyn is saying. Thank you, everybody. It's going to be a good, very, very good session.
I'm worried about Ron. He's been very, very, very quiet. Ron, is everything okay?
Ron's great. Do you know what it
Ron's
is?
fine. Ron's energy hasn't changed. Generally, if his energy changes when he looks down like that, because he's our producer today.
I'm just mixing the crows, just in case. In case
You need them.
And in case I need them. Yeah, it's like my. Do you know what's really funny? My smoking is like halved when I'm on a live stream, when I've got these in my hands. It's like it's just giving my hands something to do. So I
That's
keep my
good.
hands busy. I get the crows mixed, and I do all my wee bits of production. And what I'd like to do is maybe I can't if because I only really do this if I get drawn to something with the crows, right? So if anybody would like a card pulled, just put I don't know, calling on the crows or Ron, pull me a card or something. And if I get drawn to you, I'll see if I can do that because yeah, it's they'll let me know who needs a crow if that makes sense. So
With also individuals, I'm just thinking about, you know, children and people with complex energetics. In other words, children or young people that have complex needs or have arrested development or have different types of needs, particularly, that energy will naturally flow to them where it is needed. And as a parent, if you are concerned that the child might be absorbing that energy, which perhaps might be construed as a different type of energy, then obviously you can decide that you don't want that energy to go to the child, and maybe then just turn down the sound completely so that you can't hear anything. And then at least the universal energy that I'm going to be sending, and possibly the one from Marliyn with the Huna, then that won't go out either to you. But it is always about free will, and you have the free will and choice to decide whether to utilize that light energy or the Huna energy or not.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, last time the Huna got thrown out, it definitely had an effect on me. So I'm looking forward to it. I see a lot of people asking me to pull cards. Listen, there's a good chance I'm going to forget that I even said that, right? And then I'm probably not going to do any. So listen, just bear with me. If I get drawn to anyone, I will. If not, I apologize. But it's, you know, it's the only thing I want to chime in too. Do you know what I'm saying? I want to just refine my skills. So and again, before we start, subscribe, share. There was a couple of people who had left super chats on the chat that was meant to be with John Wedger, who is sadly ill. Poor John. I promise I will read those to Beverli before the end of the show. Before we go any further, I just want to say to the super chats that have come in just now, please, Bev, look at Chris and I and guide us. Now, this is the individual who had sent a super chat on the other chat
yesterday. Yesterday.
We will get to. Bev, I am an SA survivor of my dad. Can you tell just from my message if my energy, if that innocence energy is gone, and also my mum and the community, and also did my mum and the community, you know? Okay,
that's quite a big one. I'm assuming then in that case, and no, thank you for the super chat. I'm assuming that is your correct name and your true name. So I will go off that. Firstly, fantastic that you're a survivor and that you've gone from a really difficult situation to thriving now. So I think that's the first thing to acknowledge with you. That's amazing. Well done. That you want me to know if your innocence energy is gone. It's actually not gone. It was the childhood aspect that has gone, but the innocence within your soul is still there, which is good. Did my mom and the community know? The community know, they didn't know. And I don't believe that your mom actually knew at all. I think she was quite oblivious to a lot of things that were around her for various reasons. So I think you're all right with that. I hope that helps you. And please let us know in the chat whether that was helpful or not. And I'm just sending you loads of blessings from as one SA survivor to another. Well done.
Thank you very much, Bev, and thank you very much, Anne. Bev, does my friend
Mimi?
Okay, I just read that as friend meme, and I was like, what could you have misspelt from meme? No, but Mimi, visit me and send hearts. What career Mimi. Should I seek? I see, feel, and know I am special. Shanika.
Hi, Shanika. But the Shanika and the Mimi is very interesting because those two have a karmic connection and a past life connection. So my answer to their Shanika is that Mimi is definitely, there is a connection there, but there's others that are connected in there. There's the three friends. Not quite sure what that is. If that makes sense to you, just leave me a message. Say, yeah, 3 friends. Awesome. Thank you so much, Shanika.
All right, we've
So
got
are we
two
going
more.
to get ready now soon to
Yeah,
go with our
two more to go.
more? Okay.
I've been running out for many years due to complications from endometriosis.
Endometriosis. Mhm.
What can I do more? Question mark. Sending love.
That's a very interesting one. Endometriosis is quite a difficult clinical condition that really affects a lot of women actually throughout the world. And if it's chronic, I think there's a lot that you can do, but I would imagine that energy needs to go through the correct channels, which is clinical energy, as in clinical doctors and specialists. But there are some things that you can do, and we'll ask Marliyn now whether Huna will help with unblocking those blockages for clinical conditions, if you're able to comment on that.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, I'm typing comments, etc. So that's why I'm looking over there rather than looking at you all, but I am totally listening. So yeah, absolutely. One of the things I love about Huna is the fact that it works remotely and the fact that it unblocks things in ways that you almost can't believe. And when we go through some of the examples and the case studies, etc., I think they will joyfully blow your mind. So I would definitely say you already know how you're feeling with regards to this particular issue. Notice how you feel once we've done it, and also do a little bit of a check-in tomorrow, a week from now, 2 weeks from now. And I always just say, I often close when I'm doing a breakthrough session, coaching a session, etc. I say, notice what you notice, because the most miraculous things that can happen. So yeah, watch this space. I am excited for today.
Right. What we'll do is I will get to the other super chats and everything else at the end of the show. I will make sure everyone who has put in a super chat gets their point across, just so you know, or your question or your statement, whatever you want to call it. So thank you up until this point. Make sure you get some questions in. We will be going until about 9 o'clock. So I will make sure that we have time for questions. And yeah, ladies, I'm just going to let you lead the way here, Beverli. So
okay, so we need to, obviously with Marliyn, we need to start with Marliyn so that Marliyn can go through her slides and start explaining to everyone. Do you want to go to the next slide, please? That's it. There we go. What is Hawaiian Huna? There we go. Take it away, Marliyn.
Fantabulous. And Ron, today you might have to be like my what do you call it? You know, when people have auto cue, rather than me going next, once I've maybe got to the end of something, you just kind of flick on the next one. But yeah, we're looking good. So first of all, in terms of what is Hawaiian Huna, it's an ancient Hawaiian healing modality, empowerment modality. So it's really about self-empowerment, and it's about finding peace and calm in this lifetime. Fantastic for cutting old links, ties, blocks, connections. It's also amazing for shifting energy blockages and releasing you from the things that hold you back. Now, it means secret or concealed knowledge. There's a little bit of a saying that those who are meant to live and find Huna in this lifetime will find it. And for those where it's not their thing, like we said, it's just going to pass them by. It works with the elements, something called the elementals. We'll be working with those today. It also very much works with the Huna symbols. So I've put a few in this presentation, so you can just very quickly see what a couple of them look like. There's a whole book of them. And so I'll be using some of those when we do the energy clearings. It's said to date back about 35,000 years. And when I first got into Huna, I was learning and going, oh, this is like NLP. Oh, this is like XYZ. Oh, this. And then like, suddenly I went, hold on a minute. NLP and many of these other modalities were created in the 1970s, 80s, 90s. Huna is said to be 35,000 years old, so I think I was getting it the wrong way round. And have a put it in the chat and just let me know, why do you think Huna was outlawed and illegal until 1979? So put it in the chat. We'll cycle back to that one, but we'll move along from this one now. But I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. This is just a quick look at a few of the symbols. So I'm going to talk about someone in Australia who just listened to an audio recording, so she wasn't there live. So when I talk about the red triangle of fire, this is the red triangle. When I talk about she just said she felt the light was shining from the inside out, that's the symbol that she was referring to, although she had no idea what I was doing because it was an audio. I was dialing in on my phone and talking into an audio service. And the one on the left, literally thunder comes down and strikes the earth and makes the earth shake. when I'm doing a session, I often open with this one because it just like loosens everything up. So that's a really good one. And the one you can see there with the circle, if people are feeling blocked, then this is a really lovely way to open things up and let that energy come forth. So just to give you a little bit of a peek at some of the symbols, and we draw the symbols on the breath and we deliver them on the breath. So it sounds a bit like, so you draw the symbol on the breath and you deliver it on the breath. So you'll meet those symbols when we come to do the energy clearing. And Ron, you can move on from that one. I love a bit of mi kappa. Now, oftentimes people think they've never heard of Huna, but they have kind of, because there's this thing called Ho'oponopono, and it's called the forgiveness process. And many people go, oh yeah, I've heard of Ho'oponopono. They've heard of what I call the SM means social, it's not anything dodgy, social media Huna. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. That's a shortened version of Ho'oponopono. Now, when I went to study Huna in Hawaii, I didn't come across that at all. Ho'oponopono was a full-on Broadway production. There's a stage. There's the Awaiku. There's the Mana energy. There's the blades of light. There's the Huna symbols and all sorts of stuff going on. So it was a much bigger thing than the words, and the words are an absolutely brilliant starting point. And when we do what I call the bells and whistles version of Huna with the Ho'oponopono, we're really cutting those connections. Now, sometimes we're doing connections in this lifetime, depending on people's mindset, belief set. We might be cutting ancestral connections, genealogical connections, connections with people you had a little bit of a beef with when you were 7 years old, and somebody that you fell out with last week, and everything in between. And it's about making those connections right, bringing a sense of peace and harmony and balance. So Ho'oponopono, what you can see in the corner, it's only tiny, it's on the shelf behind me. That's the Book of Huna. I think that was the level 2 training. Ho'oponopono is one page in the Book of Huna. So there's this one little piece of Huna. So people often sort of know of it, kind of, but not really. So we can move along from that one. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. I feel like Elvis. So in terms of the correspondent, one of the things I loved about Huna, and it reminds me of the Sean Atwood channel. It wasn't a competition. It wasn't my stuff is better than your stuff. It was like it's stuff. And it all brings something fabulous to the table. So they gave us this chart where they said in Huna, we call it mana energy. In Tai Chi, they call it Chi. In Sanskrit, they call it prana. And they were just taking us through all of these wonderful correspondences, and all of them can shine equally as bright, just as all of the guests that are on Beverli's show shine equally as bright. When, Ron has a panel, they all shine equally as bright because they are complementing each other. And it's that wonderful yin and yang. And I so love that about Huna. And that was one of the things that really made me go, wow, I like the way that they approach this. It's not my way or the highway. It's which way suits you. So, yeah, and that one, and the mana is, they call it like an invisible energy, a magnetic fluid almost. I don't know if that's the best example to use, but the one that comes to mind, if you've seen Terminator 2, and you've got the baddie Terminator, he's like a Mercury, and he globules in and out. It kind of reminds me a little bit like that in terms, and also the Hawaiians believe that you have an energetic connection with everything and everyone that you come into contact with, whether that's a fleeting, you've just picked up a newspaper from someone, so thank you very much, right through to those deeper relationships. So we can move on from that one. And while we're moving on from that one, Beverli, anything you want to add, anything you want to say at this juncture?
Well, I think everything you're saying is absolutely wonderful, and I agree with all of that. And with the universal energy, and part of the energies that I work with, both remote viewing and all of these other pieces where I've tuned into, different sites and finding children, which we had another one today that we were asked for, actually from Bulgaria, because that's where we found one of the last children. So I'm just waiting for the file and the case to come through, which is great. And that's all about prana, chi energy, and all of those exact energies that you were saying. And that's exactly the same thing that we're tuning into. So pretty much everything is all on the same frequency and level. So that's perfect. Take it away.
Fabulous. So, okay, let me just say this is an AI image. It's completely random. I just typed in Huna guides and I put in a few of the Hawaiian words, and that's what it came up with. But it was perfect in ways I can't even begin to tell you. That's a story for another day. But when I'm doing this work, it's not just little old me here in sunny UK, or not so sunny UK at the moment. I'm also working with what we call the Huna guides. They're called the Awaken. And so when I'm working, let's say with clients remotely, with their permission, I send the Awaken over to them, and the Awaken will do their work. And there's one client, now she drives a Porsche. So this was probably about 2006, 2007, something like that. Because I've been a coach and therapist for 24 years at this point. I could always hear her coming because the Porsche, well, the electric cars probably will not have the same thing, but the roar of a Porsche engine in full throttle is like, whoa. So I could always hear her coming at the top of the street. And then I would get up and I'd get the parking voucher. I'd open the door, say, hi, how are you? Give her the voucher. She puts it in the car window. So I hear the roar of the Porsche engine. I'm like, whoa, that's a beautiful sound. I opened the door and she went, did you send Huna to me last Wednesday? I was like, oh yeah, because you came in, and we're doing an ongoing coaching thing. So she's given me permission. Just sort this out, Marliyn, get on with it. So I said, yeah, I thought about you 2 or 3 times, and I just thought, come into my head, let me just send you some Huna. I said, how did you know? She said, I felt it. A couple of weeks later, she comes back for another session. I hear the roar of the Porsche. I open the door. How are you? She didn't even say hello. She went, you didn't send any Huna last week, did you? And I went, no, I was really busy. I was on client site most of the week. I went, how do you know? She went, I didn't feel it. So it's really just a little bit mind-blowing. And not everybody is as sensitive to energy as that. But that's the kind of cool stuff that happens when you send the Huna guides over. So I get the ball rolling with doing the symbols, doing the energy. And then I'll be saying to the Huna guides, can you please work with XYZ, ABC, 1, 2, 3, in a way that's conducive with their energy field, and their instruction is just come back when you're done or when I next call you. So that's the way it works with that. We can scroll along from that one. Thank you very much.
Can I just quickly ask, did you tell us why Huna was banned?
No, I said people put it in the chat. What do they think?
We haven't found that out yet. I haven't missed that then. I just wondered if I'd like buffered or something. But yeah, and also this does look like a Hawaiian crow. I'll be honest, you're right. Someone in the side chat had said that. So yeah, anyway, sorry for interrupting.
So that's a bigger version. So you can scroll through those. That's just a bigger version of the little symbols that I showed you. That's one of my favorites. So just a bigger version, just so you get a little look at them. Yeah, we can scroll through that one as well. Thank you very much. This one is so interesting. So it's about the third eye. Light comes pouring forth when people are like, I don't know. We're in a session. I'm like, and I can see what's there. It's about to pop. And I look at time and go, yeah, we move this along now. While I'm sitting there, we're not doing anything that they can see, but I send this signal. I don't know, what would I call that? Telepathically makes it sound grander than it really is. But I send this signal to them about anything from 10 to 30 seconds later, they go, oh, well, yeah. And all of the information starts to flow. So that is one of my favorites. And also where it says dissolves disturbing energies into the light. So what the Sean Atwood channel and Beverli and Ron and all of the Azria and all of the other fantastic guests have been talking about is these disturbing things that have been going on in the world. And with the essay, as I call them, thrivers, the essay survivors, some of this is about dissolving all of that awful stuff that they have been through in the past so that they can now step more into themselves, their power with the empowerment, and just clearing all of that old energy away. So they're all my favorites, but this is a really useful symbol. We can scroll along from there. Thank you. And also, while we're doing that, with regards to what I'm going to talk about next, is just some of the examples of how people have experienced Huna. I'm going to share with you my first experience of Huna magic as well, and the thing that blew my mind, and the thunder that's going on. You know, one of my favorite symbols, the thunder comes down and strikes the earth and makes the earth shake. I think that is the perfect backdrop for this one, because I'm looking at that and it really reminds me of it. So in terms of my first experience of Huna magic, I'm on a training. I'm only on the training because I accidentally signed up thinking it was just about improving my communication skills. So I was very quiet and very shy. And it turns out it's full on hypnosis. I'm like, no, thank you. And this weird timeline therapy. Okay, whatever. And this thing called Huna, Huna, never heard of it in my life. And so I wanted to get a refund. I said, this isn't what I signed up for. The training company says, well, come to the training. If you don't get massive value, we'll give you a refund at the end. So I'm like hopping mad now. So I'm at the training only to get my money back. And I'm really angry that they're wasting a whole week of my time. So the person running the training, he asked for a volunteer because he wanted to demonstrate Huna. My hand shot up in the air and I'm like, me, partly to be facetious. Because if you're going to get a refund, you need to collect evidence and say, well, that was rubbish and that didn't work and that was a crock and I tried this and I tried that word. We know, if you're in personal development, you know how I feel about that word probably. So I put my hand up and he said, okay, think of someone that you have an issue with. And you don't feel that you have a good energy, a good dynamic between you. So I thought of the place that he's thinking of. I went, yeah. And then he carried on teaching the class. And about 15, 20 minutes later, he looked at me and says, how are you doing? And I went, fine, thanks. Teaches another segment. 15, 20 minutes later, looks at me again. How are you doing? I'm like, thank you very much. I'm doing perfectly well. We get to about an hour and a half of this every 20 minutes or so. And then he says, okay, how are you doing now? Just tell us how you're feeling. And I thought, he hasn't done anything. He's just desensitized me. He's made me think of this person for an hour and a half. So now I'm a bit numb to it. So I was just like, dude, you haven't done anything. Now, one of the issues was that this person would never call me. But if anybody says, how's Marliyn? They would go, well, she never calls. And and whenever I spoke to them, I felt about this big, like they were talking down to me. So I get home from the course that night, and I'm studying to be a chartered accountant. So I didn't tell them I'd gone on some woo-woo course. There's a voicemail from them. And I thought, well, there must be an emergency. So I ring up. I said, oh, hi, you left a voicemail. They said, oh, how have you been? I'm like, fine. I said, is everything all right? Oh, yeah, just wanted to see how you are. And I was like, okay. We carry on the conversation. And they said, where have you been? And I said, oh, I'm on a course this week. Now they know I'm studying to be a chartered accountant. They then said, what course? And I was like, oh, God, here we go. So I thought, let me just pull it straight out the bag and say the worst thing I could say to them. I said, because they're a lawyer. I said, a hypnotherapy course. And I thought, here we go, wait for the download and why don't you just focus on one thing? You're supposed to be studying the accountancy. Why don't you? And I'm waiting for the tirade. You know what they said? Because they were having morning sickness. They said, oh, do you think hypnosis would help me with my morning sickness? The next day I went back into class and I said, hey, you know that thing that you did yesterday where you didn't do anything? I think the person has been abducted by aliens, because I could not understand what had happened. It's like the only logical explanation. And I said those words in October 2000. And now, of course, I'm sure there have been shows already about the aliens, the drones, all the rest of it. In October 2000, I went back into the class and I genuinely said, I think they were abducted by aliens, because there is absolutely no way on God's green earth I can explain what happened with regards to that dynamic. It was just insane. So I was just like, holy smoke, something happened there, but nothing happened. So when I'm talking about you don't have to feel something, all I felt in the room the day before was annoyed. There was no lightning comes down. There was no cherubs. There were no angels. There was no energy streaming in. There were no rainbows. I was just freaking annoyed that this guy wasn't doing anything and just kept annoying me and saying, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? And I'm like, you haven't done anything, nothing's happened. So don't get too carried away with the, oh my God, I didn't feel anything. Just notice what you notice. So I'm going to pause there. Anything you want to add, Beverli or Ron, and then we can put the slides back up and we will continue with the overview.
I've only got 9 slides. I've only got 9 slides on this, Bev. Bev, you're muted.
Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, those 9 were the 9 because of the branding that was on the others. We can't use them because they've got branding on them of other brands.
With branding. I know we're live. Ron, do you want to just put your email in the side chat and I'll email it to you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Are we going to be all right to use the ones with magazines and Red Bull and all the other brandings and things on them?
I can take those out.
We need to take them out. We don't want any issues.
Absolutely.
Which is why they were taken out.
Okay, yeah.
There's way too much branding in there, which is why they were removed in the first place.
All right. So is there anything else, Bev, that I need to remove before I resend? Are we good? Just the branding and the magazines and the
Red Bull, the branding, the magazines, all the books, and particularly where you've got an entire page filled with loads of clients and people's names, and that is against DPA data protection rules. We can't actually have it in. So that's why it was reduced down to 9 slides, which I didn't want to have to address this live on air. This is why we removed all of those. It's not something we generally discuss.
It went full admin mode there. I just want to say
that's good. No, that's good. That is good. Now I know you're saying with regards to the magazines, all of those ones are before you had the people chasing you for them, and that's very cool. Right. So when that email address appears in the private chat, I will email you. Right, there we go.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, put it in the private chat. That would make more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's not the other one's moving very fast.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
No problem. Let me do that.
I was just saying this to Bev beforehand. The last 9 months of the pregnancy have all caught up to me now. Like my brain is just smashed. But listen, whilst we're figuring all this out, ladies and gentlemen, if you could do me the favor of please liking, subscribing, and sharing, please push this out. It really does help. And yeah, I will say this: a great response from people wanting cards pulled. That could be something we try out a little more often as well. I quite like to get involved with that.
How are you?
Alrighty.
With your cards, did you manage to? Was there anybody actually in the chat that asked about any cards, or did you have any that you were actually drawn to?
Yeah, well, to be honest, everything was moving pretty fast. I've starred all the questions and then starred all the names, and I'll try and go through them all. But I'm just making sure I catch all. I'm prioritizing paying attention to questions right now. If you know what I mean. And I appreciate all the super chats. We will get to the next round of super chats. We'll maybe throw some of them up just now while we're doing this. Okay. This one, here we go. From Lisa, I had a very vivid dream about a white horse. I rarely remember my dreams. I felt extreme empathy because the horse had suffered abuse. I'm also a survivor of CSA, and I have struggled with spirituality. Any ideas, please? Big shout out to Lisa. She's one of our mods. We love Lisa.
Wonderful. Do you want to deal with any of that, Marliyn, particularly with, white horses and dreaming and things? How does that connect? How does that connect with Huna?
Now, with regards to Huna, the dream, there is a whole dream analysis portion of Huna. The way that it works, however, is not saying to someone, oh, a white horse means this and that means that and a feather means this. It's not about that at all. One of the things you do, it's almost like you do a grid. And one of the key things of that is you break down the dream, just all the components, because there are often things in dreams that are very significant that stand out. So in this case, the white horse. And then there's a process for figuring out what does that mean to you in a particular context. So I'm always saying to people, it's not just about, oh, what it means this, it means that. We're looking at what does it actually mean to you And oftentimes when we say, what's the context of the dream? After people go, I don't really know, because they maybe not have been thinking about it. Suddenly something will come to mind. And then we say, right, in that context, what does that mean to you? And that's when all of the information starts to flow. So I'm not the one telling them what their dream means, but I'm going to facilitate them in terms of putting those pieces together. And oftentimes with a dream, it depends on how people dream. Sometimes people are very vivid, but if you're saying that you rarely remember your dreams, when you use this process, often then other fragments of the dream will come in during your waking state. So it might be a couple of days later and suddenly you remember another piece of the dream and you see how it all fits together. So it almost flips it on its head, because I've got a really good dream book, and with all of the symbols and the signs and all of that, and I love it. And one person's feather or dove or owl or whatever it might be could mean something completely different to someone else in the context in which the dream for them is related to. So that's how I would be doing it, rather than just kind of, oh, it means this, it means that. It's a little bit of a different approach in Huna.
Yeah, I gathered that it was slightly different, and that's why I wanted to hear your take, particularly on, white horses and vivid dreams and things like that. Thank you so much for that.
All right, so we have these extra slides. Which page do you want me to jump in at?
That is a very good question. Let me tell you, what have I looked at? Let me see what I'm looking at here. So I cut. Let's go. I think if it's not the same, it should be around page 14, something like that. And I'll see what pops up, and then we can scroll up from there.
Yeah, we had.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to scroll through the whole thing, actually, because of what's actually in there. Yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, we can move up a little bit because we've covered.
I'll keep an eye on it. We did that one. We did that. I've just talked a bit about that in terms of the abducted by aliens. We'll go to the next one, and just kind of. And when I share these examples, one of the things that I'm kind of inviting you to think about, this is to expand your, how can I say this? Your realm of possibility. Because when you see some of these examples, you might think, oh, I hadn't really thought of that. And so what it does, it expands your energy field and allows you to be in even deeper and greater receiving mode in terms of how this Huna can show up. So it just kind of, because there are times I'm like, things would happen. I'm like, I didn't even know that was possible. But when you know it is, you expand possibility. So this was one, and this would have been around about 2006, something like that. I was on site all day. I was a management consultant working in London, and writing, and I had to write a proposal that night. These documents are beasts. It could be 50, 60 pages just to understand what they're, this is central and local government, to understand what they're asking you for. And then you've got to write the tender, and that could run to several hundred, sometimes thousands of pages, depending on the size of the contract. So I've got one of these to write, and I've got to hand it off to the next person by the next morning. Sorry, my mouse has gone crazy. I keep getting stuck on pages, and then I keep having to press it 10 times, and it jumps all over the place.
That's cool. Give a little bit of a preview, as we call it in photo reading. So in terms of so I get a phone call, and the person is crying, and they say they are going to end their life, and they are just phoning to say, I love you, and you've been a good friend, and thank you for everything you've done for me, and da 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 da. Now I said, look, can we make a deal? You stay alive, leave it for tonight, just go and have a lie down. I'm going to send you some Huna, and let's talk tomorrow. Do we have a deal? So in their drunken stupor, they're like, yeah. So I write this proposal till about 1 o'clock in the morning. Then I went, got ready for bed, sat down. I just fell asleep. Woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, oh my God, I didn't send the Huna. So I'm sitting in bed, like thinking of them, an outline of them. And I'm like, do the Huna, go back to sleep. Next morning, there's an email from them. So good, they're still alive. And they said, Marliyn, so sorry about last night. I've had a really bad breakup 3 months ago. I haven't been eating. I haven't been sleeping. I had too much to drink last night. And I was just wanted to end it all. And then they said, and in the email, and this is the bit where you tell me you didn't do anything. But last night at 3 o'clock in the morning, I felt really calm. I felt really peaceful. And I had the best night's sleep I've had in months. At that point, I'm like, oh my God, I'm straight on the email. I'm like, you're not going to believe this, because the exact time I sent the Huna was the exact time. And I sent symbols for being calm, cutting the old connections, bringing in a sense of peace. And that is exactly what they felt. Now, I already knew about energetic, because I've been working online since 2005. So nearly 20 years coming, if you're watching this in real time. I already knew that this stuff works remotely, but this was one of the times that really made me sit up and take notice and go, what in heaven's name is this? It just blew my mind. And the thing with the dolphin, there's a picture of a dolphin there. So I was on a Caribbean cruise, because it's all very well working with people. I'm on a Caribbean cruise. And, you know, if you've ever been on one, you can spend all of your day out on trips, etc. So I sign up, I'm looking for, I'm not sure about dolphins. I don't like the way they keep the dolphins. And they said, no, this is fine. They're what they call open, I think it was something like open seas. And I don't know what that means. And they said the dolphins are not penned in. They go and swim in the ocean, and they come back at feeding time because they know there's food and a bit of playing. So they come back of their own accord, and then they go back out into the ocean. I'm like, cool, I'll do it. So I rock up to this place. Now at breakfast, somebody's saying, who are you? What do you do? And I thought, here we go. So I said, a management consultant. And I'm a bit into personal development. And they said, we do Reiki. And I was like, oh. So I do this thing called Huna, have studied Reiki as well, and da-da-da. And then we just get talking. They said, what are you doing today? And I said, I'm going on the dolphin. And they said, and then we talk about animals and the way that they can respond to energy. And they said, I wonder how the dolphins would respond to energy. And I said, I was thinking the same thing. I said, I know, I'm going to experiment. So I go to the thing, and the way it works is, I think there were five groups of, I think there were 6 of us, 5 or 6 of us in each group. So we go into the thing, the dolphins know what time feeding is. So we're all standing there watching this great big ocean. And then suddenly in the distance, you see these dolphins all like, woohoo, here we are. And so the dolphins all swimming about, and they're doing the briefing, and they're telling us what's going to happen and do this and do's and don'ts, all the rest of it. And I said, which one is our dolphin? So they pointed. And I was like, oh, cool. So while the instructor's doing the briefing, I look at the dolphin who's swimming in the distance, and I send the dolphin some Huna energy. I'm not kidding you. In a split second, the dolphin whizzes round, comes straight at me like a tornado, and then gently nuzzles itself into my stomach. At which point, the trainer freaks out because this isn't meant to happen. So she then gets all, I put my hand up, I said, it's absolutely fine. I said, I have a way with animals. So all the other trainers are kind of looking because they know that's not part of the protocol. I said, please carry on. She said, are you all right? I said, I'm absolutely fine. So the dolphin's here. I'm then stroking the dolphin. And she looked again and she went, they never let us do that, even the trainers, and we know them very well. I said, yeah, I've got a way with animals. So she's carrying on, and then the dolphin moves, and it goes a long way. So now it's resting against my stomach, and I'm like pinned against the wall, not in a painful way, very gentle. So I'm stroking the dolphin long ways. The trainer is getting more and more freaked out about what's going on. I kept just saying, it's absolutely, and I'm feeling bad for the dolphin now because I'm sort of potentially getting the dolphin into trouble. And I just get saying, it's fine. I said, I'm fine. Yeah. Please carry on with the briefing. Then it gets a bit where you do the photos that's in the slides. And they sort of say, right, I think I was 3rd or 4th in the line. So they start with person number 1. They move away from the group into the center, and then the dolphin will come, and then they've been told what they're allowed to do, what they cannot do, but they do that little photo with the dolphin. So all of the groups get started, and our dolphin won't move. It's just right there with me. So she's doing all the things to get the dolphin to move, would not budging in. So she then says, okay, Marliyn, will you go first? So I go into the center, I do the photo with the dolphin that you can see there. And then I go back into, go back. The dolphin followed me.
Yeah, this was all through your teachings with the Huna, and just being able to connect on that frequency with all things around you, I would imagine, Marliyn, right?
It was just the weirdest thing. The dolphin wouldn't move. And in the end, our group
That's
had
awesome.
to go and integrate with the other groups, because the whole time we were there, the dolphin just stayed with me, would not move.
When we were talking earlier about, I think you were talking about how Huna works and how it's delivered and things, and it sounds a lot like if we're in a river and you're upstream and I'm downstream, and we're in this flow of energy, and you send down a paper boat and it's coming towards me, I can choose to accept that little boat as it's heading down and what it can do. And it's fascinating. And you know, that's one of the big things that we're going to be delving into this evening. We have our Huna energy and our universal energy. And let's get winding up to this, ladies. And what exactly?
I'm ready. I'm ready. We're ready to go on my side. I've done my meditation. I know the chat was saying, where did I disappear to? Sorry, guys. I had to go quickly and do what I need to do in order to, and Marliyn very kindly spoke through things so that we could get ready, and we're ready. All I'm doing is I'm going to be sending out via the screen and sending out the energy that comes from my hands. I'm sure those of you who've been here before, everyone knows that I've got these energy balls in my hands, and I will be sending out that universal energy at the same time that Marliyn does her lovely Huna symbols and her breathing. So I'm going to just flash a quick picture on the screen so that you can get a visual of what I'm doing. And it's literally the corona. There it is. And there's around my hands. And that's a quick AI representation of what I look like. And that's what I'm sending. So we don't need any more of that. And I think we're pretty much ready. Marliyn, do you need to do anything to prepare?
No, we're all good. As long as people mission piece and they're all right to go, then we're all good.
Right, so everybody in the chat, I've seen a lot of your comments there. If you're ready to accept the energy that Marliyn and I are sending out, this is a wonderful festive season. It's going to perk you up. If you need it to go, the energy will go wherever you need it to go. If you need healing, that's what it'll do. Whichever one that works better, it will go back into, or you might even get a double bubble and have the energy going into you in both areas. So accept or just decline peacefully and sit and watch, which could be lots of fun. Or alternatively, decline totally and turn your sound off and keep us on the screen, and then we'll catch you later. So we're going to start, guys. Buckle up, and here we go.
And also, Beverli, there was a question somebody was asking about their dog. I'm going to say pets often respond very well. They'll often come and sit quietly by people's feet or on their lap, and they stop scratching about. So I'm going to say leave it to the intelligence of your pet.
Yes.
But, you know, however they want to do it, if they want to partake, they absolutely will.
Bev, am I best to just have you solo on screen when you're doing your universal, and then Marliyn solo when she's doing her?
We're going to do it together. We're starting at exactly the same time because it's a double bubble. It's a double bubble.
I get. You've only said it 400 times this week, and I'm only now understanding.
That's all right, lovely. That's all right. It's a double bubble.
So sorry. I'm so sorry, everyone. It's
you
been
have
such...
baby brain with your lovely dad.
100,000,000%.
Fine. You're going to be a daddy very soon, like the next couple of days.
Let's crack on. Let's do it.
Okay, little yum. Right, we ready, Marliyn? Let's go.
I'm ready, and I'm going to start with what we call the ha breathing. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. I'm going to do 3 of those. You can join us if you like, and then I'll do the symbols. And also think about, do you want to shake things up? Do you want to calm things down and ground them? Do you want deeper connection? Do you want greater clarity? So you can hold the intention for that as well. Okay, so I'd say that's good for the first burst. We might do another little burst when we get to the bit for Jaguar and putting a bit of group intention, but having, they say, fill your own cup up first. So having received your dose of the energy, having it shift around, then I think it's almost like purer, cleaner energy that comes when we do maybe a group collective after that. But Bev, how was that for you?
I think that was good. I think we were, it was a great team effort. So for those of you that watched the show a couple of days ago when Azria did the alien DNA with Jaguar, Jaguar had said to us that the night before, so on the Tuesday night before my Wednesday Awaken with Beverli Rhodes, where we had the whole DNA for Jaguar, she had had the most awful attack. God bless her. And she was pinned to the bed, and the demons had literally beaten her up and down her whole body for the night of Tuesday. And she had said previously, any healing, any energy, I give everyone permission to try to send me protection, send me healing energy, because my body's really sore. And she had lots of aches and pains when she got up because of the beating that she had taken. So Marliyn and I spoke about this, and we decided that the two of us would also send healing, because I know a lot of people in the chat are very concerned about Jaguar. So what we're going to do is we'll do a very short burst session quickly, where we'll send it out to Jaguar Right to help her with her fight that she has with the dark ones, so that she's healed, but also she has protection around her, which will be slightly different to what we've done previously. But I think you can, if there's a byproduct of the energy, accept that if you want to, obviously, it's free will, yet again. If not, then just watch carefully. So, so somebody can't work for a week. Irene, you go for it. You know, grab some of this energy as well. I'm pleased to see that your tummy is fluttering from the back and is warm from that. That is a lot to do with the energies. The universal energies will attach yourself through your belly button. Your computer stopped working. Oh dear, we're sorry we did that. But that does happen. Oh, isn't that lovely? I'm glad your kitty cats and your doggies were quiet. My lot downstairs, all four of them are quiet too. Yay, for the first time only. So, oh, thank you, everybody. We love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. That's lovely. We're going to do the
That is
next one
amazing.
for our dear Jag, bless her. And we're going to send that. Get ready, guys. Accept that energy if you want it. And it looks like, accept it anywhere. I mean, it can be fluttering in the tummy, can be with your throat chakra, it can be any of those. Thank you so much to all the beautiful, beautiful comments. We honor you. Thank you so much. And obviously, if you're celebrating Christmas, use that lovely energy, pass it round. Right, we're going to start now.
I've got a question for Ron. Ron, it doesn't matter if you can't do this. It's just a thought if you happen to have something handy, and it's absolutely 100% fine if you can't. Do you happen to have a picture of Jaguar handy that you could put on screen?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I've got thumbnails. I've got a thumbnail.
Yeah. Just put a thumbnail would be great. Just so people who don't do the energy stuff all the time, it can be really nice to have something to focus on. So, you know, if you want, and I'm really guessing that pretty much everyone here must know who Jaguar Wright is. And just in case somebody's chanced across is like, who's that? Then it can be nice. When I first started doing the Huna, what I used to do is get a piece of paper, I draw the outline of the person, I'd write their name on the piece of paper, and I would focus. I don't do that anymore. I just do it all in my head. But that's what I used to do before. So it can be nice. You have something to focus on. And also, if you're like, just send good vibes. There's someone called Lynn McTaggart who does something called the intention experiment. She's been scientifically testing this principle. And they found that the people in hospital, you have one group who prays for a group of people and the other group don't get prayed for. And they do it under scientific conditions, all of that sort of stuff. So even the doctors don't know what's going on. They have found systematically over the years that the people who receive the prayers in however people want, they're not saying pray like this and do this and pray. It's not that. It's just do whatever feels right to you. The people who receive the prayers recover faster. And they've done the same experiment praying for peace in a particular area, a gang-ridden, murderous part of town in one of the states in America. And then they went back and they looked at the police reports. There were marked differences. So however you want to do it, you can see Jaguar's beautiful face. What a fabulous photo.
Do you know if they run the same data on that experiment? Do you know if they run the data without a deity involved? If there was any data based off of that, or if it was purely through praying to a deity, or was there any data based off of forward projection, or, you know, projecting good vibes effectively in the same context, or was it just through praying? Do you know?
They basically just ask people to pray, and if they're not religious, just send good vibes.
Okay, I'm with you. Yeah.
Send good vibes. That's it.
Interesting.
Right, there we go. I've just sent a message off to everyone in the chat. Ready, everybody? Get your feet on the ground. Make sure you're grounded. Grounded energies. Get ready from my point of view. Put your palms up so that the universal energy can go in. And of course, our lovely Marliyn will start the Huna as well. I'm sorry, I'm going to go now and I'm going to make a start. So here we go to Jag.
And I'm going to get some energy from the heart chakra as well. So you can do that as well. Send some energy from the heart to the wonderful Jaguar Wright.
Okay, that's one cleared. Okay, we're good. I'm clear. Oh, that's it. Well, I hope everybody in the chat enjoyed that, because we enjoyed it, didn't we?
Oh, I felt it was double speed. There are times where, depending on who I'm doing a Huna, because often I'm doing this either in groups, webinars, or one-to-one, but when it gets to particular people, the Huna is either almost very slow and very gentle, or it's like bang, and it's really fast. And this one for Jag felt really fast. It's like, come on, she already knows all this stuff. Let's just get down to business. Boom, let's do it. Let's send the energy. And it just felt as though everything was almost double the speed that I just did. And some reason I've got chills. I'm thinking of that song. I've got chills. They're multiplying, and I'm losing control. Oh, that is beautiful. So I'll be interested to see how Jaguar. When next time you speak to Jaguar, Ron, ask her if she felt anything on Sunday night, and notice the ripple effect of the next few days and weeks. It'll be very interesting.
Yeah, at 20:39 UK time, hopefully. I know she'll be up and about, and probably in one of her lovely, beautiful baths that she has, because she has this aquatic off-world being that's with her, and that's part of her DNA. So I'm sure she'll be in water, and she usually is.
I got two very, very heavy but emotionless teardrops, right? Which is the manifestation of an element, right? When I push things in through,
that's
it's water.
Fantastic.
It's water and smoke that I kind of work with, and that was great. Yeah, the emotionless tear of pushing that energy out was good.
And there was lots of peaceful energy, lots of energies where we're sharing as much of the transmutation of the energy to people's bodies. I really was trying to restore the balance, not just for our Jag, but for everybody that's watching, and for everybody that's watching in the future, sending out across the world all of the various locations, and to make sure that that intervention, that it moves through, and where there's a necessity for that healing energy to go, the energy will go there as well. So I'm hoping all felt it. Good.
Oh yeah, 100%. Massive positive vibes in the side chat from everyone. It's just incredible. But look, let's jump into some questions, okay? Because rather than me waffling, let's jump into something.
And Ron, I've also put my website into the private chat, just in case you want to put that up as well.
No, I do. The mods, I'm going to send it to the mods right now, and they can do their spam-a-lamin.
Yeah, thank you to the mods. They're always really wonderful, and
I'll also add you to my banner here.
Always come up trumps for us. Thank you, mods.
Hang on a second. Let me just add you in here too.
That would be fabulous, because last time I was getting, who are you? Where do we find you? Like, is this when I say trance? It's TRANCE, as in hypnotic trance, because I'm a hypnotherapist as well. But the spelling sometimes throws people. So, but it's intentional. I didn't misspell the word transformation. It was intentional.
That sounds like the sort of excuse I give on a daily basis when I try and write words, Marliyn. I'm not going to lie. So a lot of people asking about the crows. Yeah, we may get to that. But I will say this: I really want to work the crows into stuff, and I think what I'll probably do is continue with the Discord community just now. I like to at least be able to hear a voice when I'm doing this right now. Anyway, so we're waffling.
What we can do as well, Ron. We can also, a bit later, we can send a personal, because we know your little one is coming soon. So for Christmas, what we want to do is send you and Danny and your new baby some fantastic energy to get you through this time when it's obviously stressful as parents.
Yeah. Just give us that spiritual espresso. Don't be corrupting my kid with all that white light.
No.
Okay.
No,
the balance.
just an espresso.
Do you know what I'm saying? She's going to have a tiny Allen. Okay. You've seen the tiny Alan sitting on her chest in the womb, the little chicken demon. Did you see the little chicken demon? I'm telling you, I might have the picture right here. You'll think I'm crazy. You'll think I'm crazy about the chicken
No,
demon.
I've seen it. I've seen it. You sent it to me ages ago. It's dead cute. It's really so sweet.
Chicken demon.
Yeah, there it is.
Chicken demon. Okay, that is tiny Alan. That is tiny Alan. That's Nova's little Alan right there. So yeah, send us your positive vibes, man. All right,
We will.
just reduce the amount of corruption. Okay,
My son's
Margie's
aching.
starting off here with a heavy one, Bev. Will my son Jacob and I mend our relationship? Margie Smith.
Oh, I got a nice positive ping on that, Margie. Yes, definitely. You will mend your relationship. There's no time frame on that, Margie Smith.
Yeah.
But I've got a good energy vibe on that, and I do know it will be mended. I'm not sure of what the energy is around that, but it definitely will be mended. So Merry Christmas.
We're going to rush through as many of these as we can as well. So if I interrupt you and push you, Bev,
That's right.
apologize. Is our ancestral DNA becoming awakened in order to help fight these evil rituals and underground practices? I'm going to say yes.
Yep, absolutely.
100%.
Marilyn, what do you think? Ancestral DNA? Absolutely. Everyone's bringing their light to the fight.
One of the things I would definitely say, it's also up to us to decide, because I remember years ago I was out at dinner and a friend was from Barbados, so we were talking about just also the family and the family tree, and a friend of mine says, my cousin says, your work is so powerful, are you calling on the ancestors? And I said, no, I'm not actually. And then I realized that because part of the ancestry is slavery, I'm like, well, they had such a bad time. What am I calling them for? And then I suddenly realized that they were the epitome of resilience and strength and thriving and growing through adversity. And I'm like, who wouldn't want to call on that energy? So sometimes we make a conscious decision as well to click into that, drawing on all of that wonderful power and asking it now to be made manifest in this lifetime in the way that's right for us, bringing through the positive aspects of that. So I would say it's also choice, and it would be a good idea to do so.
Okay. Can attachments jump into other close members of the family after death of a loved one? Love to you all.
Usually not, in my experience. Usually not. When the husk is gone, and when the host is gone, because that's what they are. That's what they're moving with. Generally, that is dissipated, and their guides or angelic beings, or those that are helping them to transition. Usually, if there is an attachment during that transition process, which takes sometimes up to 5 days, those attachments, pretty much like any of these leeches and those types of bugs that you get that are living on the body, once the body is unalived or starts becoming lesser of an energy, attachments will disconnect anyway and start moving off. They generally don't. What do you think, Ron? You get the same?
I'll be honest with you. I have just read through about 12 questions as opposed to paying attention to anything that was just being said.
No, that's all right.
The ADHD, the brain is broken, okay? And I just read down to the. I'm so sorry, everyone, right? I've done so well for the last 9 months for the pregnancy, but now I'm done. I'm not even fighting it. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not even fighting it. Here's a good question, though. Is there any way to know how far? I could have just read the question and then answered it myself.
Oh, this is
I didn't even have to listen. Honestly, I'm losing my mind. Is there any way to know how far you are in your soul's ascension and have starseeds on Earth already ascended and are just coming to Earth to help lift its vibration? Susie, I butchered your question. That was not broken English. It was not an eBay description, right, for something getting mailed from China. Okay, this was a well put together sentence. So I apologize.
Thank you, Susie. Thank you so much, and thank you for all your lovely energy as well, because you really are one of the star seeds in the future. Look at your energy that I can see. It's just really beautiful. So yeah, I think you can know how far you are on your soul. There is such a thing as being able to have a soul review and look at what you've done this far in your trajectory. Look at also the ancestral, how that comes in. And most importantly with you, look at your guides, because I think if you activate the guides, the soul ascension will make it a lot easier, particularly for next year, because next year we have an amazing set of planets. We've got an amazing set of energy. So get yourself ready to look at your soul for next year and start moving forward, because it'll be a very positive year next year. Thanks, Susie.
Okay. I think this was basically answered before. Can we ask for healing for our pets? Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Susie's back with another banger. When remote viewing, is it like watching a film, crisp or clear, or are the pictures described to you subconsciously to work out or something else? Also, do you know? Oh, honestly, Susie, you're smashing. I'm glad one of us has woken up today, Susie. That's all I'm saying. Right?
Thanks again.
Two ladies here are. Anyway. Please, Beverly, cut me off.
Yeah, so Susie, remote viewing is not really like watching a film. It's like a popcorn machine where you get a piece and then another piece and another piece, and through time, through your energetics, you can then narrow it down. But I will say that a lot of the pieces that you get in bits and pieces, it is crisp, it is clear, and it's very, very defined. The pictures come through in a postbox effect, so they drop in to the back of the head, is what I find, and that's what I teach my students every Friday. And I think we also I've got 2 remote viewers that can pick up numbers. So generally it's like number plates or taxi numbers or house numbers or factory numbers, things like that, when you're looking for a lost person, lost child, or lost pet. And then the colors, you won't actually see the colors, but then you perceive the energy from the colors. I hope that answers your question, Susie.
I've maybe started doing some things, right? I don't know whether I should be, because I don't know what the rules are and what the whole consent thing is, right? But I've been trying to just, in fact, let me rephrase that. A friend of mine, right, has been doing some things, and he explained to me that he was trying to focus on a person, right? And it almost looked like a charcoal drawing moving around in a very illy lit room. Right, there was things going on there, and there was recognizable outlines of people. If that makes sense. So you know, if you think of your mom or you think of your partner or whatever, they've got an outline. So that's basically what my friend's doing. Definitely not me. I'm not messing around with things like that. But it's interesting because is that a skill set where you kind of get, is it when we were talking about refining your tools, it's just about experience, is work experience, right? It's just about doing more work experience. Okay, good. I'll tell my friend that. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's what Fridays are. Fridays is I kind of teach. I say, right, this is what we're looking at. And obviously when you're remote viewing, you give yourself an operative name. So you choose a name for yourself. So you never use your own name, because we have to send all our documents off to various agencies all over the world. And there's now 30 actually. There's 30 people that are part of the Remote Viewing Alliance, and everybody's got their own name. So we've got the Pink Lady, we've got Tinkerbell, we've got Dreamy Fox, who's actually a gentleman.
Yum Yum.
Oh, Yum Yum going to join us on a Friday. Well, come and join us, Yum
You would
Yum.
liquefy my brains. I would love to. I mean, I'm fully down for learning as much as I can. And
well, there you go.
So yeah,
sure. Best train it because it makes it a lot easier.
Now, do you know what?
Thank you for the question, Susie.
I think I'm going to pick a more normal name like Malcolm. Do you know what I mean? Malcolm, the star jumper. Do you know what I'm saying?
Hi guys, the only one that's got a real name. Everybody else has chosen characters for themselves.
Malcolm, mate. Malcolm or Danny Dyer. Let's go crazy. Right. Okay. Next question. Moderator channel. Okay. The next one. Marliyn, please. Okay, Marliyn, please do Huna healing with us monthly. It's a brilliant idea.
Hi, Kate. Nice to see you.
Hi,
Susie is on fire.
Kate Remover. Hi, Kate. Lovely to hear from you. And yeah, monthly Huna would be very cool. I used to do that for several of my groups. But yeah, if people like the Huna energy, then we'll have a chat behind the scenes, and I might occasionally pop up on the show. We'll see.
Yeah. Could you recommend any particular meditation technique to open the third eye, or is the the bog standard staring at a candle flame. See,
Mhm.
that's interesting, right?
Mm.
Because for me, I can, when I close my eyes, I can almost, I feel my eye open, right? So it's like I close my eyes, I center it, and I can feel it happen. And then it is just, it depends if I'm asking for downloading or if I'm sending stuff or whatever. But for me, it's very much like when I really, really concentrate, I start having facial spasms and all this kind of mad stuff. So yeah, that's my take on the third eye, if I'm being honest with you.
Or just be an easier way is to ask Marliyn to do the Huna third eye activation, which is also a really good one to do.
Yeah,
And
nice.
I'm sure that she'll be able to share that with us. And alternatively, there's many different types of meditation techniques that can do that. And I know the bog standard staring at the candle and the flame is also just as good. It does work. Might take a bit longer, but it does work. There are many. There's not any one that's any better than any others. Thanks again.
And also, Beverli, there's a really nice, I use the symbols for that. Now, one of the things I've got to say, if the vessel is ready, because one of the things in Huna is do not teach beyond the level to which you have been taught. And that means you've got to have the capacity to hold what you're asking for.
Yes.
So if somebody's ready for that, then yeah, the symbols open it up very nicely. And there's a very quick sort of, one of the processes we've taught in Hawaii is when you close your eyes, you imagine that you're looking into the almost, with the pineal, and if people don't know where the pineal gland is, maybe just do a quick search and just
sure
have a look.
Right.
But you imagine that you're looking inside of your own head, between almost like just almost like a little bit below the third eye, and you're focusing on that point inside of your own head. And that can be an absolutely fantastic way, rather than just looking at the bog standard candle. It's almost like a pineal gland activation as well.
Yeah. Gotta be honest though, I did use a bit of alchemy along the way to help just nudge the third eye along, just to slap it a little bit.
You can use water as well. Water is
definitely
great.
wasn't water, babe. I'll tell you that right much. Okay, let's move along. Okay, here we go. Okay, here, Bev. Do you have any thoughts on speaking in tongues? As a former Christian, but I'm a former Christian, but I don't believe anymore. See, that's interesting, right? Because I see, when you see the preachers, like the big, powerful mega churches in America, and you've got one of those like mad Texas. Again, I'm not saying all Texas preachers are mad, but for this context, just imagine mad Texas preacher. And he's like, oh my God, Jesus is inside me. Like that to me seems a bit, But then you'll see some like intimate setting where there's some little old woman that's like the town prodigy, like puts her hand on someone and they'll like splurge out some, and there'll be some actual healing that's done. So I don't know. What tell us, Bev. Shut up, Ron. Tell us, Bev.
There's different languages. There used to be the speaking in tongues. I think it's still around within the various Christian faiths. There's also speaking star language, and there's also what they call light language, and there's angelic language too. So there's different types of languages that are universally accepted, and they're all languages that the demonic realms cannot understand. And this is one of the reasons why those languages exist, because they're light-based, and it means that the dark energies cannot understand them. Guides, fairies, off-worlders that are, empathic and kind and have only our best interest at heart, they would understand star language and light language.
It's an encryption.
There are lots of languages. It's an encryption of our language. When I do mine, believe it or not, I think in English, but what comes out of this mouth is just unbelievable. It's ridiculous. What comes out is like nowhere close. And I even sit back and think, what on earth was that? And it just comes out. So what happens is it translates directly from what I'm thinking, and it just comes out. And it usually means there's something around that needs to needs to get out of there.
Really interesting, because I always get an overwhelming sensation to not speak when I'm doing anything that I do, and I wonder if that's why. That's interesting. Okay, trying to deal with.
Thank you for that, Pearl.
Trying to deal with many losses at once, feeling deep despair and depression, completely drained. Don't want to leave the house, struggling with thoughts. Oh man, that's heavy, Radha. Let us know how you're feeling now. I think that's quite a complex situation to try and dive into just through a side
I
chat.
remember Rada from a couple of our shows, and I remember that Rada had sent various aspects, and I think that there was a couple of losses that were mentioned a few shows ago. So Rada, I definitely understand that loss, but the main thing is don't allow that deep despair and the drain that you have on your energy body to overtake.
Right, Rada, I just pulled you a card, and the card is resistance. Okay. So if everyone can just bear with my novice skills.
Marliyn, what's your advice as well for the dear Rada?
One of the things I'd say, Rada, there's a thing here called the Samaritans. It's suicide hotline almost. You dial the number if you're not fit in a great place. One of the things I would always say to people is just think about beyond this moment. I recognize that right here, right now, it feels like you want to go, and just put one foot in front of the other. And if that one foot in front of the other is brushing your teeth, fantastic, celebrate that. If that one foot in front of the other is making yourself a nice cup of tea, put one foot in front of the other. And because oftentimes when you're not in a good place, you can almost catastrophize and think about what's happening tomorrow and what's happening next week and what's happening, and then that gets overwhelming. So I just say, think about the present moment, put your hand on your heart, just breathe into that, maybe do a couple of the hard breaths that we did at the start of this, and just say, okay, what am I going to do in this next now moment to soothe my soul, to bring myself bring myself closer to that sense of peace, and put one foot in front of the other. And if you are lucky enough to have people, organizations, things around you, then reaching out for help. I always recommend having a good old laugh. So find something that really just makes you smile, brings a bit of a smile to your face. But I say one day at a time, one step at a time, as you kind of progress through.
You know, that's mad, because literally what you just said there was almost half of what was written on that card pool. I just want to read this to you. So this is resistance. There may be a strong wind coming your way. However, you do not have the ability to find a path. However, you do have the ability to find a path with least resistance. However, have you ever seen a crow get thrown by the wind? The bird may be taken off the ground, but it finds its balance again. Resistance brings an obstacle or adds friction to a situation. Ideas that once have sailed into completion might now require some more additional work. You may find a project or goal that now requires an extra step to pass onto another phase. Resistance might manifest itself as a need for approval from an outside influence that takes longer to achieve. With resistance appears in a reading, you are asked to be adaptable to find the path of least resistance. And it's weird. This is the only one that I found that has a quote at the bottom of it here, right?
How lovely.
And it says, you are the sky. Everything else is just the weather. All right. But resistance. So I hope that helps, Rada. And I apologize.
It does. Also, Rada, there is, with our normal emergency services now, when you call in, there's a mental health section on the emergency services. It's called press 2 for mental health. So there is, and they man them exactly the same as they would the emergency services, and they're fully up and running. So call your usual 99, etc., and then 100%. Press 2, and that will get you through to the mental health team. And they're working really hard to get through all the calls.
And just to be blunt, right? If you are serious about those thoughts, seek professional, trained, medical help, advice. We are in no way
we're not clinicians, and we're not a substitute. And if necessary, phone Samaritans. If we can put the Samaritans number up somewhere on the screen as well, so that individuals that might find it useful, they can write that down. And also our emergency services number, press 2 for mental health. That will be very helpful.
All right, hang on a second.
And also, it's the top of the hour. If you've got another show that's starting, Ron, keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, I need to. If the mods can tell me when the next show starts, because apparently Ron can't spell Samaritan. I think this is right. Is this the right one? I think that says Samaritans, right?
Yeah, that's Samaritans. That is Samaritans. 116123. Yep, 116123 for Samaritans.
Okay, so I just want to say to everyone who keeps sending in super chats, I'm trying. Okay. Can you build a car on that goal? Hang on a minute.
And I would like to know who this mad MCC is. Everybody keeps asking me, please, to go on RV. Mad MCC. I don't know who mad MCC is. No idea.
Oh my God.
Need a bit more information, please.
Okay. Jack, what I would suggest, I know you've, Jack, you're asking for us to send out healing. This might sound a bit mad, but that's what we've just done tonight on this live stream. If you can get him to go back and watch the part where the ladies are sending out that energy, it is residual. It is going to be, it is a rewind it as many times as you need. Okay. For fun, watch it in twice the speed, speed it up by twice the speed. See if you can compress it down to espresso format. Okay.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jack.
As vivid lucid dreams like me, what can I do to help the process? He sees and oh my God, I am broken.
And not be terrified of sleeping. I use selenite, salt, and prayers. There you go. Oh, Rocco, I'm helping you out there.
Thank you, for the love of God, Bev, please. Please.
Oh dear.
What is it? We just did that one. This one, next one. Hi, Beverli. Can you feel any dark energies in my life? If you do, why are they around? And how do I protect from myself? Thank you very much. Listen, Curly Whirly. If you listen, Bev needs at least something to work with, Curly Whirly. And I was just going to tell you.
1972 is actually Curly Whirly's birth date. That's all I've been able, but I don't know what the real name is. But the 1972 is the birth date. But that's about it. So I need a bit more than just a small piece of string, please.
Okay, I imagine this is Jaguar Right's root chakra drained from all the spiritual attacks.
I think that she did say, thank you for the super chat, by the way. I think she did say that she was, I remember she was saying, yes, when we were with her, she said that she was very drained. And that's why she'd gone into this very super bath with all these herbs and salt and all these good things. So I think that her chakras were very drained, but she was very, very bruised as well from the spiritual attack. So just try to think kindly for Jag. Bless her.
Ron, oh God, Ron's pushing the wrong buttons now. Oh my God.
You're having fun with the buttons, and this time, Ron, it's not me. I'm not doing it.
Listen, I'm so hungry as well. I'm ready. I'm ready for dinner.
And you know what happens when you get hungry, Ron? You get grouchy and scratchy.
Oh, you know it.
I know, because I can see your energy strength.
Man.
You're doing this whole fuzzy because your tummy's rumbling.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if it was a zombie apocalypse on a good day, I'll drive round the zombies. But when I'm hungry, I'm just mowing through. I'm just mowing through them, man. I'm hoping they're zombies. You know what I'm saying? So, okay.
You need food.
Yeah, I do. I'm hungry. Okay, I'm gonna think. Have I ever had any special abilities that I've forgotten about? You could have had loads, mate, but it won't help you because you've forgotten about them now, Marcy. Okay, you've loaded that question. You were asking a question just to get your chops busted by Ron. That was a chop busting question, Marcy. No, I'm just kidding. Ladies.
Marcy, everybody has special abilities, and I'm sure that Marliyn will agree that everyone has special abilities and everybody has the energetics and extrasensory perception. It's just that, unfortunately, through our lives, particularly when we're small and at schools, all schools around the world, they close you down. They stop you from believing in yourself, and they stop you from believing in your special energies or in your special friends or invisible friends or things that you can do. Your intuition is closed down. So just reactivate yourself. Use what we did earlier, Marliyn and I, use that energy and reconnect with your special abilities. Marcy, go for it. Thank you for the support.
I'm assuming this is literal and not a metaphor, but is it dangerous to watch the Pope opening up portals?
No, Phoebe, I don't think it is, particularly because I really don't think that level of energy can get everywhere. I've had a look at the Pope's energies, and it is depleting. So I can't see that he's going to be able to have that reach. But it might be, if you feel that you're worried, Phoebe, which is what I think you are, then turn down the sound and just watch. And then whatever energies are coming through sound, you won't be able to pick them up.
Thanks, everybody, for everyone's super chats and everything tonight. It's
Fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are the plasma-like orbs in the skies aliens, interdimensional beings, or just Earth phenomenon? What species are we most likely to meet first? Interesting.
Oh, that's a good one. Well, considering that they're putting together the exopolitics group now formally with the United States, they're bringing together a large group of individuals that are experts in exopolitics, so having the political wherewithal to negotiate with off-worlders. Obviously, the plasma-like orbs and the sky aliens are the interdimensional beings that have been in contact with us for absolute centuries, not the drones. The drones are man-made, reverse engineered. What species? I think we'll probably end up having individuals from the Galactic Federation of Worlds, not of light. They're two different things, and will be some of the benevolent and peaceful, kind individuals. But I will say, from what I've seen, particularly in the deep underground military bases, pretty much they're already here. All it'll be a case of, well, these are the people we've been talking to all along, and this is what they look like.
All right, everyone, listen, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. I cannot get to everyone. Okay, hang on a second. Beverli, can you remote view me? Samantha, it's not as simple as that. My dear with
Oh, look at the birthday. 12/12/1968. Yeah. Whoa, we need Danny and a couple of other numerologists that we know, like Tina and others, to come and do the numerology. That's fantastic. Ron, what is my card? Marilyn, thank you for Huna. Oh, that's fantastic. Samantha,
I'm going to leave it to your interpretation of what this is, Samantha. So you focus on what you're wanting here, and I'm just going to pull you one card out of this deck.
There you go.
Teamwork is your card, Samantha. So apply that, make that fit your life. That's the word. That's the beautiful thing about it. All right, everyone, listen, we have got another show that is happening right now with the wonderful Lionel Nation. We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll keep you updated on what is happening. Big things coming in January from Awaken with Beverli Rhodes. We've got all kinds of cryptid stuff happening. There's a bunch of paranormal stuff. It is going to be awesome. Thank you.
We've got a Soulmate Show 2 starting in January. So there we go. Nice to see everybody.
It's basically Cosmic Tinder. Okay, that's what Beverli's doing. It's like Cosmic Tinder, right? So if you want like more alien DNA connection, less normal connection, this is the show for you. Also on Friday we'll have an awesome game we're playing called Match the Mugshot with the Crime. So look forward to that. It's ridiculous. But listen, thank you all for being here. We'll see you on the next one.
But before we go, I just want to say thank you so much to Beverli. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Also, my website is transformationstm.com, TRANCE, because it confuses people. But I just want to say thank you so much. Your audiences are wonderful. Thank you also to Sean Atwood for keeping this channel going and putting the vibes and energy into it. It's always an absolute pleasure. So thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. You're very, very welcome.
Pleasure. Have a lovely Christmas, everybody, and a lovely New Year. See you tomorrow, actually, on Monday.
Take it easy, guys. Peace.